Hello, hello. I'm gonna wave. Sip my tea, my lovely, lovely tea in my lovely mug, and say good morning or good evening, everybody. It's still morning for me. You are on my channel, Margaret Pinard, historical fiction and fantasy author. So welcome. I have live streams every Wednesday and Friday morning for me. And today it's going to be a live stream about readathons. So again, welcome. I usually, or used to usually, talk about readathons at the end of the month in preparation for the next month's slew of possibilities. And I discontinued doing this a few months ago. And I've been thinking about this and what I want to make my policy. And so I finally articulated it into a sort of thought to share today. So that's what I will be talking about, readathons. I had a question. It's not about readathons. It's about one of my last live streams about being an inner crone. Has anyone embraced their inner crone yet? Done any of those like reflections or thought about it a little bit? Gotten any results? We'll leave that up for a few minutes in case anyone has and wants to share their experiences. And then I'll say hi to the folks in the chat. Gareth was here early. Seems like he's getting a break at the end of the week. Excellent. Leslie was here listening to the Memory Police and will pop in when you go live. Nice. Anita is here. AF Stewart. Alan, evening. Yes, for some. Hello, Greg. Hello, my fellow readers. And Elaine, hello. Anita says, was in the middle of an email for the history panel when the video notification came up. Funny. All right. Yeah, today it's an hour later than usual because I had to go to walk-in hours and I didn't know how long it would take to be seen. So I hedged my bets and you got a notification. That's awesome. It's working like it's supposed to for like the one time in history. And Kat is here. Hello, home for one and awake. How's it going, everyone? And some people didn't get the notice. So Anita is alone in her success today. Catpot is here. Hello. Yeah. So happy Friday, everybody. We made it to a Friday. Whew. Okay, so readathons. I'm sure most people have participated in a readathon in their Booktube careers so far. So shout out if you have a favorite in the chat or the comments. I am now on my 6th year. I'll put it that way. So I think August is my anniversary for Booktube. And so I am working on my 6th year on Booktube. Whew, I know. And I'm just looking like a Southern belle, like never age, do I? Anyway, when I started out, I had a few months where I was working out technical things and trying to figure out how to do editing and how to do these tricks, and then trying to learn some of the algorithm stuff and like what I was supposed to do. There's a lot of working out kinks in the beginning, but I pretty soon hopped onto the bandwagon of, readathons. So if you're completely new and you don't know what they are, I will take now 4 minutes in to describe it. A readathon is when someone or someone's on Booktube hosts a time-limited challenge of a particular theme, whether it's an author, whether it's a season, whether it's a historical era, etc. They make up some challenges around this theme. They have videos explaining it, inviting people to participate. And basically, it's one of many ways to get people to read more books. And the books that they want people to read. So, there's a lot of different motivations for starting readathons and for joining them, I would suppose. So I jumped in pretty early. But this is where the thumbnail thing comes up. I've sort of defined 6 phases of my readathon experience, and so I'll talk a bit about those today. Oh, Elaine's reading event. Pray tell, what's the name? Drop the name. I don't know a specific reading event. I know it's UFOs for the last 2 months, but I don't know about a specific reading event. So drop it in the comments. I went back and tried to find a video that defines all of my eras. So I'm just going to take you to the first one, which is from, oh boy, where's the info? It's from 2021. Where does it say the date? No, it's from 2020. Okay. Last updated October 28th, 2020. Wow. Wow. So long ago, guys. All right. So here's me sharing the screen. This is a November TBR for the history books. And I say that because there was some historical stuff going on. And if we look in the description, I said I have 3 reading goals for November. So one of my first buddy reads, Indigathon, which was still Indigathon that year, and then Nonfiction November. So those are the first 2 I participated in, and I put the hosts in there, as is common courtesy to do. So yeah, really early, like 2.5 months in, I was jumping on to read nonfiction and read Indigenous authored books. This is good, right? This gets you in touch with other people who are making videos for those readathons, books that you might not have seen or come into your way otherwise, and possibly new hosts that you might not have met yet either. So obviously, I realized, oh, okay, so if you want more visibility, hosting a readathon is a good way to do that, because you're doing some work for other people in case they like it. So join is my first phase of a booktuber. Oh, Cousin It is a readathon. Cousin It 25, read and watch. To just have fun, read ghosts, cryptids, or UFO stories. Read and watch adaptations. Oh, okay. So I see the Cousin It, and I only knew that it applies to having the photo with your hair combed forward with the glasses in the front, like Cousin It. I didn't know it was readathon related. I just thought it was like periodic updates, and I didn't really understand. So thank you for clarifying that. All right. So Anita says, I've been going spooky art. Does that count as embracing my inner crone? Yes. Why not? Why not? One of the things I covered on inner crone was like the giving no Fs. So if you're embracing spooky art in a manner that is shedding your desire for approval, then definitely. Elaine says, short story or novel, all counts. I think all of those count. She's talking about for her readathon. First year for the readathon. All right. Oh, Libro's here. Hello. Never participated in one, but I would be interested in a filmathon. Yes, you do often mention movies. Watching all the Jason Bourne films or Before Sunrise trilogy. Well, that's quite a spread. That's yeah, those are both more mainstream than I've heard you mention before, which is fun. Yeah, filmathon. I think I've heard people talk about some of those. So interesting. So my first phase was join, right? Join in. And that was my first example that I shared on the share screen. The second phase, I would say, is pick favorites. Pick favorites. So I have tried several. And by try, I mean made TBR lists with books intended to read for certain readathons. And if you've followed the channel for a long time, you probably know how successful those are. Maybe 1 in 10 gets read. Not very successful, and that's why we've phased them out. But they do get on the radar. They do get on the wish list. They do get on the library for later lists, they do get into my consciousness. And I think that's helpful in terms of diversifying your reading out of what you normally pick up, right? So it's edging things ever closer. And so I tried a lot. Many didn't work. Some did stick. And so I picked my favorites. And my favorites that I have like come back to year and year again are the one that I host. So that's coming when I explain hosting a readathon. But the one that I host is in February, which is our Black History Month here in the US. I know October is Black History or Black British Month in Britain. Ours is in February, probably because it's the shortest, but I call that the Black Author Tuber Readathon. And in that one, this was my attempt to feature and spotlight some author tubers. So I'm in the author tuber community who identify as Black, write stories about Black characters sometimes, but not always. And because they were trying to have more visibility with their channel on YouTube, give them a little boost in that regard, right? So it is notoriously difficult to find your audience on YouTube as an author. And so I thought, well, if I can concentrate some eyeballs and get some people reading, maybe buddy reading, or just looking at the list and saying, oh, fantasy romance, that sounds great. Or, ooh, this horror sounds really good for October. I'll put it on my wish list for later this year. That's the sort of thing I'm trying to promote. So I still do that every February, the BAT Readathon. But the ones I participate in are also the Irish Readathon in March, the Caribathon in June, Jane Austen July, sort of, kind of. I love hearing about people's experiences, especially if they go to Bath and you know, participate in costume. Victober, which we are currently experiencing, and Indigathon and Nonfiction November. Now they are not regularly distributed, you may notice, because February, March, June, July, fine. October, November. We've got some months with none, and we've got 1 month with 2. So that makes it a little hard to do anything regularly, but I need a break from any goal. So I'm glad that some have time off, and November is usually a pretty intense reading month. So that's fine. I could probably make room for 2, no problem. So yeah, so pick favorites, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 favorites apparently. Let's see if we have any other favorites shouted out in the chat. Kat says, I've been giving extra evil face to folks more often. Does that count as being an inner crone? No, because I think evil face is outward. This is getting in touch with something for yourself. So try again. Libro says, I get around. Okay. All right. So broad range of films. I appreciate that. Cat Paw says, I need to look into that, Elaine. Sounds like what I'm doing all on my own. Very good. Very good. So Cousin It Readathon. Maybe we need to hear more details on that. And then Elaine answered the question, I embrace my inner crone every day. 611, wake up and ta-da, there I am. Okay. Oh, 61I. That's not 11. Gotcha. My eyes. Sorry. 61. I wake up and ta-da, there I am. Some of us are already there. That works. Cat's laughing. Cat Paw says, time slips are my favorite. You know, I feel like, is there a good month for a time travel themed readathon? Because that'd be a really good one. A lot of people I know like those. Time travel, time slip. Susanna Kearsley. I mean, come on. She's so good. I'm pretty sure there have been time slip or time travel readathons. I'm not sure if Rachel has done that or participated in some. I think it might have been a prompt on someone's like sci-fi themed readathon. But yeah, we could get together and do that. That sounds good. I love that sneaky dig, probably because it's shortest. Well, I mean, it was Congress, right? Helene says, "'Tis true, I passed the mother stage." Yeah. It says, "I tried to do, oh yeah, Don't Die July." It feels like it just passed. It was 3 months ago. Yep. With Ven and Noah, Summerween that I just keep going. So Summer Halloween, yeah. Garb August, I mostly just enjoy all the announcements. Yeah, there's some pretty fun ones. And right now we have Occult Detective October. So that's a great one. That's a new one this year, I believe. Um, and I know Roy has put up some um, information about that, as well as Deb's, which we just heard on the Is This Thing On last night. Yeah. Laughing at me. I don't know. You still mother all your cats. Yeah, and all the animals, actually. I've yet to follow up on numerology, but I haven't forgotten. Ooh, is this another readathon brewing? You can let us know in the chat. All right, so that's the second phase. I do have favorites, and now you know. The third phase, which I was alluding to earlier, is make your own. So I've had a couple tries at this, right? And oh, let's see if I can open it up. All right, so this has got an ad on it. We're gonna wait for the ad to go away and then share the next one. So this is the first announcement that I made for what was March of the Moderns. Let's look at the date for that. So February wrap up and March announcement kickoff. This was, where's the date? I never know where to look on this. I mean, it should be right here, right? There we go. March 3rd, 2021. All right. So like I was 6 months in and I started March of the Moderns. So if you weren't around for that, I was looking for something that would be period, historical, which is my vibe, but Victober was already in existence, right? And so I thought, well, what about what follows Victober, the modern era, which I hadn't really read much of and was usually consumed by Brian's favorite white dude, war novels, etc., like Ernest Hemingway. And I wanted to have a greater coverage of the modern era. So what I took that to mean in my own readathon, since I got to make the rules, was once the Victorian era ends in 1901 to the end of World War II, because I think that's probably commonly considered postmodern after World War II because of all the disillusionment. So that gives us a good 46, 45, 44, I can do math, years of literature. And I got to hoard quite a few novels, get out, as I said, and explore more things, more breadth, and more depth. And so I pulled people in to do guest appearances and really tried really hard to make it fun, and read quite a few books. I think I have enjoyed the books I've read from March or May of the Moderns, as it turned out to be, because there were too many readathons in March. More than I have the Victorian books I've read for Victober. So I'm less about the romance of the period, 1901 to 1945, but I liked the literature that I read for it more. So go figure. And yeah, so this is my first attempt here in March 2021. That is phase 3. And as I said, it was March of the Moderns to start, and then we had, like the mysteries and the mammoths and middle grade. And so there were 3 really big readathons, and I was like, okay, we're gonna move this to where there's more room, which was May. And so it became May of the Moderns. And I did that for 3 years and then was kind of like, okay, I think this vein is exhausted. I think, we can stop mining here. Because I was finding the end of my efforts to find new books, and was finding it hard to come up with new prompts. And so I just let it go. I did a lessons learned from that readathon. So if anyone is watching this because they're interested in hosting a readathon, I'll put that in the chat. That was an interesting thing. And then I started the Black Author Tuber Readathon the next year, so 2022. And basically this was when I was trying to grow and I was trying to learn and I was trying to find the people who were writing books, who were searching out indie books, who were, open-minded enough to give historical fiction books a chance, because I feel like it's kind of a, what's the word? Scoffed at. I don't know. I feel like many people have many reasons to disregard historical fiction, and I'm not okay with that. So I'm on my one-woman mission to bring it back. It's a historical joke. Yes, you can laugh at that. But yeah, so yeah, make your own. That's my third phase, where I did March of the Moderns, Black Author Tuber Readathon, and then I found when I was going back through my content, Scottember, which I think was just like 2 years ago. I don't know if I even read more than one book. I think I just read one. But that was one of those ones that was like, oh, let's just try something new and see if anyone picks up on it. And no one did. So I was like, well, all right, nothing ventured, nothing gained. No big deal. All right, so our next phase is going to be phase 4, and it's going to be scale it back. So what did I choose for this one? I have, what is the date here? March 5th, 2023. All right. Oh, I'm the wrong page to share here. Where does it say share this window instead? It should. It does not. Okay, I have to share it again because I clicked out of that. Gosh darn it. All right. So this is when the phase 2 comes back in, and you can see, oh, she's got favorites. So this was in March 2023, and you could see like here, I was cutting it down to Irish Readathon plans, right? Many possibilities, women's history, mystery madness, and more, but I'll be focusing on the Irish Readathon. So at some point, you realize after a little bit, when you are trying to do everything, that you can't do everything. And so phase 4 for me is scaling it back. And so it was, I'm not going to do all the prompts. I'm not going to be able to accomplish all the things. I'm not going to be able to do blackout bingo, whatever the case may be. And so the ones that I really liked, my favorites, I just sort of came back and said, oh, okay, I'm going to watch the announcement videos, see if they have like a new theme that really jives or aligns with my my reading tastes. But this is where I got much more comfortable with being a mood reader. And if you're wondering, how much of a mood reader are you? Well, I've gotten more and more of a mood reader because I will not make TBRs anymore. I've already said. I will try new readathons sometimes, like throw it in there, say maybe, and I'll put up a stack of books that might work. But if I'm not inspired to pick them up and I just go a different way, it's fine. It's fine with me. I can't be bothered. Or as some others might say, like Emma, not bothered, not bothered. Let's see. Oh, and Jim's here too. Hello, Jim. Hello, Emma. I think I may have missed you guys because I see Don't Die July. Oh no, we talked about that, but someone else said it. Don't Die July and Book Trek. Yes. Book Trek is a summer, June, July, and August readathon. Excellent. Oh, Jim says, I did make a Georgian readathon last year, but it didn't go well. Ooh. Were you open to people reading the translated books as well? Because I think there's a few, maybe 2 translated Georgian books that are, what's the word, in vogue right now because of the prizes that they won. But yeah, it's disappointing when they don't go well because you can put a lot of work into some readathon efforts, and then if no one joins, it's sad. It is. I can attest. Cat Paw says, Don't Die of Heat Stroke July. It does not involve books. Really? Because if you're not dying of heat stroke, you stay inside and you keep the air on and you don't move and you drink water. So to me, that's like the perfect conditions for a book or an audiobook maybe. But yeah, fair enough. Elaine says, I co-host Ghosts of Christmas Past, Year 2, created by Vin of Revenant Reads. Oh, nice. We've got Supernatural and Christmas. So I'm guessing it's a December readathon. That's cool. There are several co-hosts on the Ghost event. Dave and Olive are one, and others I can't remember. Nice. Yeah, co-hosts are really good. Sometimes you'll get like a dozen co-hosts, and then it gets a little much to like copy and paste all the names and everything. But yeah. Yes, don't die of heat stroke, Cat Paw. Glad you're still with us. Oh, yes, and Celtophile. She started. Oh yeah. Celtophile is the readathon, but the tag Nicole's Bookish Nook created is called Rock on Celtic Songs, and it's a funny thing because I think it was Alan where I first saw it, and then Pat, and then I traced it back. Someone had at some point done the is it required reading? I can't remember which tag it was, but they like meshed it with they added the last prompt for Rock on Celtic Songs, and no one realized that like this random thing about a band is not related to the title, which is funny to me. So I had to go back and see where it diverged. This is why I need to write things down and see it daily. Meh. Lesser importance, I would argue. Cat says, same. Cat paw saying, the heat is killer. Libro says, I am a mood and instinctual reader. Yes, me too. Cat says, making me want to try to make one, mostly as a sneaky way to get recommendations to read between my favorites. If I get enough, there's bound to be a couple I can find and afford. Yeah. Yeah. So, depending on your goals, I will say, I would counsel you or advise you get a few of your interests, right? That you want to read, that you want recommendations for, and then try to think like what would most likely have the most overlap with other people's interests. Because if no one comes to make the recommendations, like Jim was saying, then it could be a sad horn, like, oh, I did all this stuff and then like I didn't get anything that I wanted out of it. So just counseling you to think strategically for your goal. If you want recommendations, you need to like draw people in somehow. Elaine says, like a video, spend hours and 10 views if I am lucky. Can be frustrating. Yes. Ellen says, I'm a co-host for PI July, Dr. November, and a Dickens at Christmas. Nice. So July, November, and December. Is that spread out enough for you to handle? That's a lot. Yeah. Greg says, I'm a co-host for June on the Range and Private Eye July. All right. So we got some buddies in here. Excellent. Yeah. And if you're co-hosting, I bet that's probably easier. I don't think hosts normally put many restrictions on what co-hosts have to do except spread the word. So yeah, it's probably less on the load. Okay, so scale back was phase 4. And then the most recent phase I have had is I got into a groove. I want to open. There we go. Of doing those videos that I explained at the top of the hour, which was I would set up at the end of the month and I would have a video that would say, here are the readathons that I've participated in the past that I really enjoy for the next month. Here are my favorites that I've read for this readathon before that apply, that I would recommend you read. And here are the few that I may choose from among to read myself that I don't know yet, so I can't recommend, but I have them on the shelf or from the library, and so I will be trying to read them. And I did this for probably a year, maybe a little less. And like I said, I sort of stopped doing it at the beginning of the summer because I was just too overwhelmed. And the schedule got all out of whack. So let's see what we did for this here. Is it not going to show me? See, that's chat replay. Where's the vidIQ thingy? 2 years ago. It's not going to show me the date. If someone can see it for me, let me know. But like, usually it's over here with the vidIQ panel. Is it the chat panel? No. There we go. Okay, it's in the description. Streamed live on October 15th, 2023. So a couple years ago. All right. So then I would say, like, these are the books that I recommend. This is for November. So again, I've got nonfiction November here and recommendations. And I even did a timeline to point people to the books at different places. So, yeah. I don't normally go back and do those. So only when there's specific books, I suppose, and standalone reviews. But yeah, it was nice to have something regular each month. And I knew I had so many slots for wrap-ups, so many slots for readathons, so many slots for an author update. And the fourth type of material was a tag. And so some of that I still do. I try to do at least one live stream slot for a tag, whether that's a double tag or a triple tag. The author stuff has been paused since August. And the readathon stuff has been like, I'm not participating in any because I can't right now because I'm overwhelmed. But yeah, so that was a good regular groove we had for a while. And then phase 6, question mark, question mark, question mark. What are we going to do for readathons now? That is the question. I sort of painted myself into a corner where I mood read way too much. And by too much, I just mean like I can get very frustrated with like not finding what I want picking up a book. Right now I picked up a book on climate anxiety. I'm almost finished with a travel guide about Clydesdale from the 1930s. I'm really enjoying Half a War by Joe Abercrombie. I'm tiptoeing through Practicing New Worlds for my fall curriculum about activism. I am plowing through, although I lost a piece of paper, Walking with the Wind, which is a memoir by John Lewis as a buddy read with Tiffany. And so I do have a lot of books that are on the go at one moment because I'm looking for something in a book and I don't always know what it is I'm looking for. Usually it's comfort, solace, distraction, immersion in a different world, right? And if I don't get it, then it's like, well, what do I read? Or I read and then I feel unsatisfied. So there's this sort of weird transition going on. So I don't know where I'm going to end up in phase 6, but I will land somewhere with my readathon approach and we'll figure it out, right? I still have my favorites. Did I read an Irish readathon book this year? I think I may have done one. So let's see, catch up with the chat here, and then I've got announcements to make. So don't let me forget. Jim is reading Nicholas Nickleby for Victober. Yes. Elaine says, see more Christmas ghosts ties in with Victorian era and the tradition of telling ghost stories at Christmas. Yes, that's true. Jim says, not co-hosting anything. Me neither, says Catpaw. Leslie's waving. We'll see, came back in. Hello. Elaine says, I do the easy ones, read something related. I don't do bingo cards, etc. This year, just way too many things I am behind on. Yep. Jim says, so how can we do a mood reader readathon? Oh, see, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Elaine is on board. What month would it be? What month would it be? There's one that was kind of fun when it started, and then I sort of lost track of it, and I can't remember who hosts it. It might be Dia from Novel Idea, the mid-month book bash, where it's like a weekend where they do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and try to read as the weekend activity and sort of report back. So like a sleepover with books. But yeah. But if we did a mood reader one, it might be like devote the weekend to mood reading whichever books and report back in. That could be fun. Greg says, I like using the various readathons to guide my mood reading choices. I have read some Victorian literature for Victober, but that's not all I've read this month. Yes. Yeah. And I've seen that you and others, including Pat, do like Thursday poetry gym as well. And so that's probably one of those things that either you read something for, you find something for, and it helps you to expand into poetry if that's what you're intending. Or if not, it just becomes a drag and like homework and like, yeah, that's why I don't do it. Don't forget announcements. All right, I'm going to put this up. If anyone has announcements, get them ready. Put your links in the chat. Catpaw says, Moody May? Mood Reader Monday? Well, every week is a bit much. Yeah, May. Could do. I feel that behind in everything this year, it feels like. Yep. Cat likes Moody May. Okay. It's a very simple title. Mood reading on Mondays throughout the year. Yeah, that seems a bit much. I don't know how you would focus that because everyone's going to be reading on Mondays anyway, right? Like it's a normal thing. So I don't know how you would organize it. If you've got ideas, then they're not communicating to me with the statement. Just keep explaining and eventually we'll get on the same page. Cat Boss says, same. Yeah, Moody May. I'd never finish my book if it was only on Mondays. Yeah. There are 52 or 53 Mondays in a year. Yeah, but it's too spread out. You need to kind of focus your energy for a readathon. That's sort of the point, is that you have a limited time so that you can all report back about something together, not the whole year. Then it's not a readathon, I fear. Kat says, then again, let's be real. I mood read all year pretty much. True. But this can be like a reason to celebrate mood reading. Libro says, maybe transformative pieces of American writing in trying times. In historical order. Oh my goodness. Oh, American writing. Well, that means it would be only phase 4 of Historathon. So if you wanted to play nice in the sandbox, it would be just October, November, December as a possibility. And then you could go maybe by century, since we're on our 3rd century, right? Yes. Transformative American writing. All right, that's got some potential in it. Elaine says, glad you're live later today. I needed this happy chat and great company. Just finished a book that made me grr better now. Thanks. Oh, who's live later today? True, but I forget what I read if I put it down too long, so I have to read it again and go from there. I don't know how others keep everything straight. We do not. You know, I have this book that I started for Victober like 3 years ago. It's William Dean Howells, and I have like 3 of his books because I thought, oh, this is perfect. This should be exactly what I like to read. And I read that much of it. I read up to page 126, and it was like pulling teeth. I was like, please, for God's sake, can we have some action? Jesus Christ. And I put it down, and it's been quite a long put down. But I'm trying to come back to it this month so that I can determine whether I want to keep this and the other 2 books or just let them go because it's not worth it, you know? But haven't got to it yet. We've still got 2 weeks. Annotate and lots of notes. That can help for a little while. Trying to make me turn my reading into studying? No, reading is my escape. Fair. A group of us is reading Ivanhoe in November. Excellent. So we've got a link for, I think that's probably an announcement video. This is my copy of Rob Roy, which I started, and the introduction is like all the history backstory that Scott had for the fictional account, and it's like 100 pages. So I have not gotten through the introduction yet. I'm thinking about skipping it. So I don't have a copy of Ivanhoe. So I'm trying to read what I have before I go out and get others. But yeah, Walter Scott's a good one for the fall, I would say. Elaine, no cat. It's how I keep track. Yeah. Which book? I don't know which book she's asking about because she wasn't talking about a book in particular. Anita says, my announcement is that I got my edits back for Tales of the Norse Gods. Oh, so the ebook should be up for pre-order by November 1st. The evil chicken is coming. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So that is excellent news. I have received my October pre-orders here. I've got 2 packages to open up, and this is my announcement, is that next week I will be doing the pre-order picks reveal. So you'll see which books I ordered for October, and I will spotlight the bookshop that I got them from. So I don't know if they'll have wrapped them. They look pretty plain, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Elaine has devolution, has action, fast-paced Sasquatch attack. I loved that read. Old-time horror, like the old B movies. Ooh, that is a certain type of read. Yes. Hey, Felicia. Hello, hello. Did you drop it on Wednesday at the very end? I think so. So hopefully you found a book in the wrap-up that you like, because that was a fun one. Or not a wrap-up. Next Wednesday is the wrap-up. It was the interview with MK. In case you didn't know, not upcoming, but looking back, Wednesday I had a lovely interview. It was earlier than usual, so you might have missed it. But it is my final guest appearance for Truth, Reconciliation, and the Climate. And I had MK Williams, who is a fantastic, fabulous, successful indie, now hybrid author. And she has a couple books that are cli-fi. And so we talked about climate issues and worries and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, okay, I didn't get to talk this unguardedly with MK in person before. So it was really nice to have her on the channel. Elaine says, I finished Imminent by Louise Elizondo. So much fact checking to do now. I think I saw that. Yep. Yes, he came at the end. It was very early, to be fair. Like, it was supposed to be at 10 and we started at 8 because of MK's schedule. So yeah, not your fault at all. But I hope it was interesting. Good luck reading while you own. I've been trying for 3 years, but keep accidentally shopping at thrift stores and whatnot. Yeah, well, we know there's a series called Pre-Order Picks that exists now. And I think I can read and get rid of 2 books a month. I think I have set a better precedent than that. But the thing is, my preferred getting rid of outlet where I sell back books, just on again, off again, decides not to buy books because they're overflowing with books inside, which is delightful, but obviously worrying for, fire regulations. And so I finally worked up the determination to go sell back books yesterday, and they weren't accepting them. And I went, I guess I'll just leave this bag of books in the car because I gotta wait till you're accepting books again. So any little thing these days is enough to knock me off my pins. Let's see. Felicia says, I went back and watched it too. That's lovely. I appreciate that. Yeah, and MK is lovely, so I was super excited to have her as the guest. That sounds amazing. Congrats getting your edits back to Anita. Yay. The evil chicken. We'll have to see. We'll have to pre-order to find out what that means. But yeah, upcoming events. Today is Friday. Next Wednesday, I'll be doing my next wrap-up, and I've got 8, perhaps more books to talk about. Next Friday will be the pre-order picks where I open, unbox the new books for October. And there's some cozy ones, so hopefully you'll enjoy the ones that I got. And then, yeah, then we'll have a special election feature for the week before the election, because gotta remind people to vote. Let's see. I still won't unhaul too many, buy them again. The evil chicken timeline is over on my channel. Excellent. Excellent. It says my usual spot only accepts books randomly. I've bought books from him that they wouldn't accept when I ended up not liking them enough to read again. Oof. Ended up giving them to the library. That's kind of annoying. Yeah. On the other hand, I went to a used CD place, like place for music, CDs, records, tapes, and I got 4 CDs. And I knew one, I was seeking out the Vivaldi because I wanted to definitely listen to that and have my own copy. And then I saw 3 others that looked promising. I listened to all of them more than once, and I was like, I really only like the Vivaldi, so I'm going to bring back the other 3. I tried them. Nope. So it was like $6 for 3 CDs. We'll see if I get, I don't know, $1 back in credit. Who knows? I'm not going to worry about that. The books is enough. But I never go for CDs and stuff. So that was just an experiment. Yeah. It's got the 4 seasons and then a few concertos, trumpets and whatnot at the end. But yeah, I was listening to a video on YouTube that was, there's a small clip that I saw on TikTok, and it was so emotional that I wanted to find it. And I think it was in the spring spring part of the 4 seasons. And so yeah, I didn't want to have to go back to YouTube and keep getting interrupted by ads. So I just got the CD. Yeah. Libra has been listening to Brian Ferry, who I don't know. I don't know what kind of music that is. So, but yeah. So anyway, we've gone down a few different tributaries of the river where this situation started. But readathons, like I said, I've got 6 sort of phases that I've worked my way through, and who knows what's going to come next. I do still have favorite readathons, and as next month is full of 2 of them, you'll probably be hearing from me about them. But as for organizing or co-hosting, I think we've got a good idea with this, like, Mood Reader May. I think I like a 3-word better than a 2-word, Moody May. I don't know. The euphony is just better for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Mood Reader May, and then we could do something together. We could all co-host it. Okay, so if you're interested in co-hosting a Mood Reader May, drop your details and your interest in the comments, and then we'll coordinate. That sounds fun. It'll be hard to figure out how to make that a readathon. Just opt in and read whatever you want, and then make a video about it, and then listen to each other's videos, because that's what makes it fun. How do I feel about reading novellas versus novels? So there's a lot more novels than novellas. So just like the numbers game, I don't come across as many. I have found some for Shorty September. That's a month where other people recommend and put out videos about novellas and short stories. So if you're looking for it, or if you're just asking for writing purposes, whether it's worth it to write novellas and publish them, I think it's a great idea. Reading novellas versus novels. I think I most often hear that even when people read novellas, they feel a little unsatisfied because it's not long enough to feel completely satisfying. But some novellas might, accomplish that goal in less space. So, but yeah, I don't read that many. I have read a few. I've liked the ones I've read, and it's usually in September. Oh. Roxy Music. See, I don't know Roxy Music either. That sounds like a music store rather than a band. Total neophyte when it comes to music industry, Libro. Sorry. Okay. Co-hosts pick a genre. Oh, so we like divided up. Oh, so everyone has a challenge and it's a genre? How would that work? So like Anita would choose horror or fantasy or comedy or um and then you'd have so like the way they do it for Jane Austen July and for Victober is like Margaret's challenge is this. And so if I had a genre and I said it was historical fiction, if you read a historical fiction, you get Margaret's challenge, you accomplish Margaret's challenge. And if you read like a horror, then you check off Anita's challenge. So is that what you mean? Anita would choose true crime. Oh my goodness. Okay. Could that work? That's a good starting point. I like that. Elaine is answering your question as well. Felicia, I like the shorter books like H.G. Wells and others. Great stories and not chunky, hard to hold monsters. Yeah, fair. Libro from Greg. I know Brian Ferry and Roxy Music, and I am in favor of your listening choice. And there you go. And Jim says Roxy Music had a #1 in UK with Jealous Guy. All right. See, people know. When I hear Jealous Guy, I think of a John Lennon song. Isn't that a John Lennon song? Is it a cover? I don't know. I all I've got is Beatles trivia. Sorry. Oh, okay. So Libra says no worries. More Than This and Love is a Drug are better known Roxy Music hits, often used in films. And next year marks the 250th anniversary of independence. Wait, independence of what? You're talking about U.S. history. Okay, back to the other idea. Yes, we're on our 3rd century. We're halfway through next year. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay, yes, it's a cover. See, I did have a like way to relate. I'm glad I had something. Something very weak. Same song. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Are they a British band? Is that why I can claim uh incompetence? I don't know. I showed up with all the British trivia on Gareth and Dave's live yesterday, but today with the songs, it's just not my area, so nothing. I got nothing. All right. So, as I said, I'll see you Wednesdays and Fridays, and some of the buddy read discussions will be cropping up soon, I hope. But I hope your reading is going well and lovely. And if it's moody, and that's all good. Or if it's for a readathon, I will probably see that in the future and enjoy your enjoyment of the readathon process. But if you want to participate in some sort of Mood Reader May extravaganza and be a co-host, drop your details in the comments, like I said, and let's get on it. There's plenty of time between now and May. So yeah, that sounds fun. Jim says it came out just after John Lennon's death and went to #1. Oh, so John Lennon wrote the song, but Roxy did the cover and took it to #1. Well, that's a twist. That's a twist. Big hugs from Elaine. And Jim says Roxy Music are British. They sound very like the Australian band Ice House. All right. Okay. Hope to see you guys for the wrap up on Wednesday and the pre-order picks unboxings next Friday at the regular hour, again, 10 a.m. Pacific. Until then, thank you for watching and commenting and sharing and subscribing and all the things. And diversify your reading list Take care of yourselves. Find some happiness out there and be careful this weekend if you're going to a No Kings protest. All right. See you out there, everyone. Bye.